Today, I'm going to show you how I built this. This is a trivet. What is a trivet, you ask? Well, that's a good question. Well, according to the Weekend Woodworker Annual 1992 edition, a trivet it's in here somewhere. No. Here it is. Trivets. When you're holding a hot pot that you want to set down, it's handy to have a trivet so that you won't mar the countertop or scorch the tablecloth. For this project, we're going to be using 2x4 material because it's what I have on hand and it's cheap. Broken nail. Okay, I've got my boards cut. I've got my faces selected. These are not going to be joined together, so they don't need to be milled. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2. Drill holes in the slats for the rods. The construction and use of the drilling box is outlined on page 116. It suggests the use of something called a drilling box, which appears to be just a jig of sorts to slot the boards into so that each hole is drilled identically. This, apparently, is a drilling box. The idea, take one of your boards, you slide it in there, you drill through the existing holes, which may or may not be centered, and you get the same holes every time. Although looking at it, this is a drilling box made to the correct dimensions. We're going to need one of those. So what I'm left with is 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces, all with what should be identically spaced holes. I can't even hold on to them. I was getting a little bit of blowout on the drill press back there, so I put a board underneath it. You can still see I was getting some blowout, and my drill press is, that was good, dirty. So that 2x4 also helped with that. Even though I cleaned it, I was still getting some dirt. What's the next step? Step 3, shape the slats. This is the step in which the two trivet designs truly differentiate. Small trivets cut handle notches in the two slats that will be on the outside as shown. Large trivet bevel the ends of each slat as shown in the large trivet detail. So I think we can cut it however we want. We might get a little creative with it, but that's the design it shows in the book. Okay, it's the next day. I spent most of last night refining these edges on a belt saw mounted into my vise. I realize now this would have been a much easier task if I had a flush trim bit for my router and a router table. I did have a template I could have been flush trim bitting on, so that would have been nice. Also realized that I wasn't paying attention when I put these in the drill box. I should have been making sure they were all going in the same orientation, because now the way I had that orientated, and this isn't a big deal to me, but if I flop that around so that it is the way it was, the way I intended it to be, my dowel holes don't line up. So I had one slat in there that I orientated incorrectly. Step 4, assemble the trivets. Slide the slats onto the two rods, place 1/2-inch thickness spacers between the slats. Clamp the slats and spacers together. With an 1/8-inch drill bit, drill 2 3/4-inch deep holes through the top of each slat into each rod. Alright. That worked remarkably well, actually. I was not expecting that. Okay, we're ready for the second dowel. Look at that, we're learning! And just like that, we've got our general shape. Now all that's left to do is drill holes along this way, insert some pins. I think those get glued. Let's check the book. The book calls for 1/8 inch rods, pins, 1/8 inch pins, but I couldn't find any 1/8 inch pins at the Home Depot. I did get 1/4 inch dowel. So that seems we'll see how it goes. I think I'm supposed to glue these. Alright, this has had time to dry, and I've had time to get a proper flush cut saw. So let's cut off the nubs and these nubs, and then I think all that's left is to sand it down and figure out what we're going to do for a finish. So that's it, all but the finish. I'm really surprised with how sturdy it is. Things that I build don't often turn out quite as strong, especially when I build them out of pine. Okay, that wasn't working. The dye in that red rag was getting on my hands. It was getting in the wood. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's little red fibers and stuff there. That was getting into the wood, and it was losing a lot of lint. So I went out and got a spray polyurethane. That's what this is, right? Yeah. So I got a spray polyurethane, but I also got foam brushes. We'll see which one works better. I'm gonna try foam brush first because I have a raging propane fire behind me. Probably not the best place to be spraying aerosol. Well, as far as ease, spraying it was superior, but now there's this like weird aroma of like burning chemical in the air. I can't place it. I don't know where it's coming from. It's just, I've smelt it before. But it is completely coated. The brush was very drippy, very hard to get into the nooks and crannies, and spraying it was a breeze. So we'll let this hang overnight. We'll put a few more coats on it, and then we'll call it done. Well, that's it. It's done. I sprayed it about 3 times. Is it perfect? No. But let me show you something. Look how good this looks. Oh man, nice straight edges. Nice, perfect curve. And it's totally all even coating and perfectly sanded. What a thing of beauty. Seriously though, once I got through the hardest parts, this thing's pretty easy to make. You know, it's in the beginning of the book for a reason. And if I had to do it again, I know I could make 2 or 3 of these a day if I really wanted to. Now that I know the faster techniques. And no, it's not perfect. You can see if we set it up on end, I've got some shorts there. But, you know, for what I have, I think it turned out nice. And for pine, I mean, come on. Look at it. It's smooth, it's clear. It'll last a long time. Nobody's going to use it anyway, because it's 2025. Nobody uses a trivet. So if you found this interesting, leave me a like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.